As you walk through the corridor, someone pulled your hair lightly from behind, making you frustrated. You spun around, ready to lash out. Jungkook, you exclaimed, seeing a mischievous grin on his face. Hey beautiful, he teased, his eyes sparkling. You rolled your eyes. Don't call me that. He chuckled. Can't help it. You're always so adorable when you're angry. You huffed, trying to walk away, but Jungkook caught your arm. Hey, wait, my match is in an hour. You're coming? You shrugged, pretending nonchalance. I'm busy. Jungkook's smile faltered for a moment, but he recovered quickly. Suit yourself, he said, letting go of your arm. You walked away feeling a pang of guilt. Deep down you knew you would hurt Jungkook's feelings. Jungkook's team, the champions, was playing against the University Lions. Jungkook looked around the stadium, hoping to see you. 5 minutes into the game, the University Lions scored a goal, the crowd cheered, and Jungkook heard your voice among them. You were cheering for the other team. Jungkook felt hurt and surprised. Why were you supporting his opponents? Jungkook tried to focus on the game, but he couldn't help glance at you. Every time you cheered for the University Lions, he felt a pang of jealousy. Despite his feelings, Jungkook played his best. He scored an amazing goal, tying the game. The match went into overtime, and Jungkook's team fought hard. They finally won, and the stadium erupted in cheers. As I walked off the field, I scanned the crowd, searching for her. My eyes found wine, but my excitement quickly turned to pain. She was talking to Alex, my rival's team's captain. They stood close, laughing together. I felt a knife twist in my heart. Why was she smiling at him? I turned away, hurt and betrayed. I felt heartbreak. I thought, I need to move on from her. But what Jungkook didn't know was that your tears hide a secret. You were actually happy to see him play, and your feelings for him were growing. Days passed since the match, and Jungkook's behavior towards you changed dramatically. Gone were the playful teases and flirtatious smiles. In class, Jungkook sat beside you, but his eyes avoided yours. He focused intently on Professor Lee's lecture, his expression stoic. You tried to catch his eye, but Jungkook's gaze remained fixed on his notes. Jungkook, you whispered, nudging his arm. He flinched, moving away. Sorry, didn't hear you, he muttered, not looking up. You felt a pang of hurt in the corridor. Jungkook walked past you with a glance. Hey Jungkook, he called out, but he kept walking, disappearing into the crowd. At lunch, Jungkook sat with his teammates, laughing and joking, but when you approached, he fell silent. Hey guys, you said, trying to join in. Jungkook's teammates greeted you warmly, but his expression turned cold. Hey, he muttered, avoiding eye contact. He felt like an outsider. Emily noticed the tension. Ryan, what's going on between you and Jungkook? She asked. You shrugged. Nothing, he's just ignoring me. Emily's eyes sparkled with curiosity. Determined to break the silence, you approached Jungkook after class. Jungkook, can we talk? You asked. He gathered his belongings, his eyes fixed on the floor. I'm busy, he said, walking away. You watched him disappear into the crowd, feeling frustrated and hurt. Why was Jungkook ignoring you? What had you done wrong? Little did you know Jungkook's silence had a deeper pain, a pain that would soon surface. It's been a week since Jungkook had been ignoring you, and you realized you have true feelings for him and you cannot stay without him, so you decided something. Next day, as you stepped into the classroom, a sense of nervousness washed over you, mingling with excitement that had been building up inside. Today was the day you had chosen to unravel your hidden emotions, to confess your deepest feelings to Jungkook. Your gaze swept across the room, searching for the familiar figure that had captured your heart, and then you saw him down on one knee, holding a small box that seemed to radiate an otherworldly glow. Your heart skipped a beat, plunging into the depths of despair. Time seemed to freeze as Jungkook's eyes locked onto yours, filled with a tumultuous mix of emotions, hope, longing, and uncertainty. For an instant, you felt the weight of his kiss, the unspoken words that hung in the air like a challenge. But it was too late. The die had been cast. Emily stood beside him, her radiant smile illuminating the space around her, leaving you bathed in the shadows of heartbreak. Jungkook's words cut through the air like a dagger, piercing your soul with every syllable. Emily, from the moment I met you, I knew you were special. The tremble in his voice only served to deepen the wound. Your heart shattered into a million pieces, each shot piercing your very being. You felt like you would been punched in the gut, left gasping for air as the world around you crumbled. A wave of pain washed over you, threatening to engulf you whole. But you couldn't afford to show it. Not now, not when Emily needed your support. You forced a smile, clapping loudly to mask the anguish that tore at your congratulations, you said, the word tasting bitter on your lips. Jungkook's eyes never left yours, his gaze burning with an unspoken question. For a fleeting moment you saw a glimmer of hope in them, a spark that died as he misinterpreted your applause. Emily tapped Jungkook's shoulder, her eyes sparkling with delight. I would love to, she said, and Jungkook's face lit up. Your heart sank further, weighed down by the anchors of despair. They walked out of the classroom together, hand in hand, leaving you behind. Tears pricked at the corner of your eyes as you grabbed your bag and fled the classroom. The cold breeze outside did little to calm your racing thoughts. You found yourself sitting on a bench alone and heartbroken, surrounded by the fragments of your shattered heart. Regret washed over you, a tidal wave of what if it's maybes. If only you had confessed earlier. Now Jungkook was gone, lost your best friend. Emily, your rock and your best friend, how could she accept his proposal? Didn't she know how you felt? The questions swirled in your mind like a maelstrom pulling you under. Tears streamed down your face, a silent testament to your anguish. You felt lost, alone, and forgotten, a fragile leaf torn from its branch. As you sat there, your heart crumbling into dust, you realized that sometimes love comes too late and sometimes it's not meant to be. The bench seemed to grow colder, a reflection of your shattered heart. You wrapped your arms around yourself, trying to pull the pieces together, but it was no use. Your heart was irreparably broken. In that moment you understood that love can be cruel. It can give you hope and snatch it away in an instant. You sat there surrounded by the fragments of your heart, wondering if you would ever be whole again. Scene shifted to your house. You collapsed onto your bed, overwhelmed by the pain of Jungkook's proposal to Emily. Your heart felt shattered like it had been broken into a million pieces. You couldn't catch your breath and your thoughts were a jumbled mess. You thought you were prepared for the possibility, but losing Jungkook to your best friend hurt more than you expected. Emily's acceptance of his proposal felt like a betrayal. Didn't she care about your feelings? Memories flooded your mind, happy times with Jungkook, his bright smile, and loving eyes. Now those smiles were for Emily, and it was unbearable. Hours passed, but the pain didn't fade. Your body ached from crying, and your eyes were swollen. Your mind was numb, struggling to process your emotions. As dawn broke, you realized you couldn't keep torturing yourself. It was time to move on. With newfound determination, you wiped away your tears and sat up. You took a deep breath, deciding to shape your future, avoiding Jungkook and Emily. You ought to move on, focusing on healing and rediscovering yourself. Soon you fall asleep. Days passed since Jungkook's proposal to Emily, and the wound still felt fresh. The pain of betrayal lingered, making it hard to breathe. Your phone buzzed incessantly with incoming calls and texts from Emily, each one a painful reminder of. You silenced the phone, pretending you didn't see her messages, but the guilt gnawed at your conscience. Hey Van, what's going on? Why are you ignoring me? Her voicemail said, her tone laced with concern. You deleted the message, feeling a pang of regret, but determined to keep your distance. The thought of facing Emily, of confronting the reality of Jungkook's proposal was too much to bear. At lunch, Emily spotted you sitting alone and your heart sank. She tried to join you, her eyes filled with genuine concern. "Why, can we talk?" she asked, her voice soft. You shrugged, focusing on your book, desperate to avoid the conversation. "I'm busy, Emily. Maybe later," you muttered, avoiding eye contact. Emily's eyes narrowed, her expression a mixture of frustration and worry. "Why, don't shut me out. I know something is wrong," she said, her voice laced with. You pretended to read, your heart racing with anxiety as Emily sighed and walked away. Later in class, Jungkook sat beside you, his presence a constant reminder of the pain he would cause. Professor Lee discussed the latest marketing trends and Jungkook tried to engage you in conversation, but you pretend he didn't exist. "Hey Wan, did you see the article on branding?" he whispered, his voice low. You ignored him, focusing on your notes, your heart pounding in your chest. Jungkook touched your arm, his touch sending shivers down your spine. "Wan, are you okay?" he asked, his eyes filled with concern. You jerked your arm away, pretending it was an accident. "Sorry, just need to focus," you muttered, avoiding eye contact. Jungkook's eyes fell, but he didn't push further. Throughout the lecture, Jungkook tried to catch your eye, but you avoided him. Your heart is heavy with emotion. As class ended, Jungkook gathered his belongings. "Wan, can I walk you out?" he asked, his voice laced with hope. You quickly packed your bag. "I have got to go to the library. See you later," you said, avoiding his gaze. Jungkook's face fell, but he nodded, his eyes filled with regret. Next day, Emily invited you to the lunch at the cafeteria, but you declined, desperate to avoid her. "Hey, Vine, want to grab lunch together?" she texted you. You replied with a simple busy. Emily tried again. "Come on, Vine, we haven't talked in days." You ignored the message, feeling guilty but resolute. At lunch time, Emily spotted you walking out of the cafeteria. "Vine, wait up," Emily called out. You quickened your pace, pretending not to hear. Emily caught up. "Vine, what's going on? Why are you avoiding me?" she asked, her eyes narrowed. "Just stressed with exams, need some space." Her eyes narrowed. "Fine, but don't think this is over." You watched Emily walk away, feeling relieved but anxious. One day in the library, Jungkook found you studying for exams, his presence a surprise. "Vine, can I talk to you?" he asked, his voice low. You focused on your books. "What is it, Jungkook?" He hesitated. "I just wanted to apologize for everything." You shrugged. "No need to apologize." Jungkook's eyes searched yours. "Vine, please, understand." You cut him off. "Jungkook, I'm busy. Can we talk later?" He nodded, defeated. "Okay, sorry to bother you." You watched Jungkook walk away, feeling guilty but resolute. The pain still lingered, but you were determined to move on. Later, Emily walked into the room, Jungkook by her side, their presence commanding attention. They found you sitting on the couch, staring blankly at the wall, your expression a mask of indifference. As Emily sat beside you, Jungkook took the armchair opposite, his eyes locked onto yours with an intensity that made your heart skip a beat. "Hey Ryan," she said softly, her voice barely above a whisper. "We need to talk." Her words hung in the air, heavy with anticipation. You looked up, a mixture of curiosity and apprehension etched on your face. Your eyes darted between Emily and Jungkook, searching for clues. "What's up?" you asked, trying to sound nonchalant, but your voice betrayed your nervousness. Emily's gaze never wavered. She reached out, her hand brushing against yours in a gentle gesture. "Vine, I have noticed you have been avoiding us," she said, her eyes probing. "What's bothering you?" Her words were laced with concern, but also a hint of determination. Jungkook leaned forward, his eyes locked onto yours, his face inches from yours. "Vine, we know you better than that," he said gently. "Something is eating at you. Tell us." His voice was low, persuasive, and sent shivers down your spine. You shrugged. avoiding eye contact, trying to brush it off. I'm fine, really, you said, but your words lacked conviction. Emily's expression turned thoughtful, her eyes narrowing. Wine, I have seen the way you have been acting, she said, your distant detached. It's like you're hurting. Her words struck a chord, resonating. Jungkook's voice was laced with concern. Is it something we did? He asked, his eyes searching yours. No, it's nothing, just leave me alone, but your words were hollow, lacking conviction. Emily's gaze never wavered. Or do you perhaps love Jungkook? She asked, her voice barely above a whisper. The room fell silent. Your eyes snapped to Jungkook's, then back to Emily. You couldn't handle it anymore. Yes, I love him a lot, you said loudly, bursting into tears. Jungkook's face contorted in shock, but he quickly recovered. He rose from his chair, approaching you, while I you pushed him away, apologizing profusely to Emily. Emily, I'm so sorry. I didn't mean to. One, stop. Just listen. Her words were soothing, calming. Where you sniffled, wiping away your tears. The thing is, I have been observing Jungkook's behavior towards you for weeks. Her voice was measured, calculated. I noticed the tension between you two and sensed an opportunity. As Emily revealed her plan, you listened, transfixed. One afternoon, I spotted Jungkook sitting alone in the crowd, staring at the sky. Her words painted a vivid picture. I approached him and asked what was wrong. Jungkook, I have noticed you have been avoiding wine lately. Nothing, just stayed here for air, he had replied. Emily's gaze had peered through Jungkook's packet. I know better, Jungkook. You're hurting, and I think I can help. Her words were laced with empathy where his eyes narrowed. What do you mean? Emily's words cut deep. Let's be real, Jungkook. You're in love with Wine, but she doesn't seem to reciprocate your feelings. Her voice was matter of fact. Jungkook's face twisted in agony. How did you? I have seen the way you look at her. Her voice was soft. But don't worry, I'm here to help. His eyes searched Emily's face, desperate for a solution. What can I do? Propose to me. Her words hung in the air. What? Why? If Mayan thinks you're moving on, she will realize her feelings for you. Her voice was detached. Trust me, Jungkook, this will work. You felt tears streaming down your face again. Jungkook's eyes met yours, filled with regret. I'm sorry, Vine. I didn't mean to hurt you, he said. This time, when Jungkook opened his arms, you didn't push him away. You hugged him tightly, sobbing uncontrollably. I'm sorry too, you whispered. His arms wrapped around you, holding you close. I love you, Vine, he whispered back. I love you too, you replied. She smiled at a hint of satisfaction. I'm glad I could help, she said. Why did you do it? You asked Emily. She shrugged. I wanted to see if you two would finally confess to each other. I knew you both had feelings for each other, but you were afraid to admit it. There is something else, he said, a mischievous glint in your eye. What? Jungkook asked. I was cheering for Alex team because Alex and I made a bet. He said if I cheered for him, he would stop irritating me. Jungkook chuckled. Here's something else, he said. Emily stood up, a smile on her face. I will leave you two alone, she said. You have a lot to catch up. Emily walked out. Jungkook pulled you closer. I'm glad we finally confessed, he said. Me too, you replied. Jungkook's lips brushed against yours, sending shivers down your spine. I love you, I whispered. I love you too, Jungkook, he replied. Your lips met in a passionate kiss, the world around you melting away. Thank you for watching.